Okay. All right. So we are started. So we're talking about vendor events today. I'm going to go ahead and get our PowerPoint up. You guys know how this works. Sometimes it takes a second for the screen to share. So when y'all let me know you see it, and then Beth and I will get started. Now, Beth, she does lots of vendor events.
I do.
I do about one vendor event a month because that's what works better with my schedule with my family. So we're going to share with you our different styles of how we do vendor events and how things work for us. Okay. So,
Can you, everybody, Marika?
mute. Yes.
Please, thank you.
Does she have class again?
Much better.
Yes.
Fabulous.
All right. There we go. I think I got everybody. All right. And we will unmute you so you can talk.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what is a vendor event? I'll start, and then Beth and I will just kind of go back and forth. We play tag team on these things. So what's a vendor event? So a vendor event is a craft fair, a vendor event. Some places call them actually vendor events, a bazaar, a bridal shower, a fundraising event, any place where you're going to be displaying your 31 products and have the ability to get leads and sales. You can also sell your cash and carry. You do not have to, but you can. So vendor events are basically an indoor and outdoor event where multiple representatives from various companies gather together to set up their products and services. Most have some sort of cost associated with them, either in the form of a booth fee or a percentage back, or the hosting organization gets a percentage of all the sales. Most of the ones that I do, typically I pay a fee to participate in. What about you, Beth? Do you usually pay a fee, or do you?
Yeah, that's more common down here. And personally, I prefer it just because they're so hit or miss. So some events I might go sell cash and carry and sell $600 worth of stuff, and other events I might sell absolutely nothing and work on booking parties instead. So it just really depends. But typically I do some of the less expensive events. I don't do the giant bridal shows that we are going to talk about briefly. But no, the big $1,000 shows, not my thing. I do the little $50 and under.
I'm scared of some of those big ones. They're so expensive. And I do not like the idea of having to give a percentage of my sales for the entire event back. That makes me feel like I need to charge more for my product.
Right.
I can cover the fees. But those are just my personal opinions and Beth's opinions on those things. So let's look a little bit more into vendor events. So why do you want to do a vendor event? So they are an excellent, excellent, excellent way to make connections and to get your name out there. You're going to make some sales. You have the ability to get bookings. You can meet recruits. You can network with other vendors. And sometimes the other vendors can be a great way to actually, make great connections, people that you'll be able to work with in multiple different ways. But for me, a vendor event is truly the number one reason for me to reach out and find new customers. So I look for vendor events in areas where I want to build my business. That's usually my number one goal, is to meet new customers so that I can book parties in their area or recruit someone in their area. And that's the number one reason that I do vendor events, because they're the fastest way to meet the largest number of people at one time. Get your name out there. Mm-hmm. What about you, Val?
Once you get to doing some events, you kind of get to know the other vendors and you get leads for future events. And you also will typically get right of first refusal for next year's event. If that organization is doing that same event the following year, they usually will try to offer it to their current year vendors first. So there's events that I've been doing for years and years and years for as long as I've had my business, basically. And I have customers who know that I'm going to be there, that I might not see them like the whole rest of the year, but they're like, oh, I'm going to go to the Arbor Green event because you're going to be there selling your stuff. So, I mean, it's kind of cool. You kind of get to get your face out there in the community in that regard too.
Absolutely. You want to do this one, Beth?
Sure, Susie.
Hit on a lot of it.
I'm still waiting on the slide to change though, babe. Oh, there we go. Okay. So different types of vendor events. We mentioned these briefly. There's three main types. The first one being small free events, and those are often things like in somebody's home, like maybe you're a LuLaRoe girl, says, hey, I'm going to get a Mary Kay, a 31, and a Scentsy together, and let's do a little thing. The downside to these is you're really pulling just from y'all's customer base. So yeah, you might meet the Scentsy Girls customers, and she might meet your customers, and you might pick up a little bit there, but it's not like a big community event where you're going to get a ton of just walk through random show up traffic. They can be fun, but I would not invest a whole lot of time and effort into those type of events. The ones I mostly do are the mid-size events, the second bullet point, and those are typically $25, $40, $50. That usually is for booth fees. A lot of the ones around here, because it is, you know, warm all year long, so we are still doing outdoor vendor events in December here in Florida, but they're often tied to community centers or to schools or to church daycares. There's a couple of women's clubs. If you guys look up General Federation of Women's Clubs, if any of you guys are involved in that, almost all of those organizations do events, and they tend to be good. Those are some of my best events around here. Temple Terrace Women's Club, Temple Terrace Garden Club. They do some really good events in the park, and they draw a ton of people. And theirs are $50, I believe, for booth fees. And if you get in with some of these organizations, this is kind of a side note that's not on the slide, but if you get in with some of these, some of them are going to have a little bit higher booth fee, like a $100 booth fee, but they will often let you share a space with another vendor. So a girlfriend of mine sells Origami Owl, and she and I will often share a 10 by 10 tent space and just both be under one tent. And we've done it so often, like we have a nice setup and we know how to draw people in, and they'll let us split the fee. So that might be something to look into if you have a good girlfriend that sells, you know, Pampered Chef or whatever, that you would want to tag team and jump in on events with. That can be a good way to keep your costs down as well if the organizers are agreeable to it. And then the third main type of event are the big ones. This is your bridal shows. This is like the expos and the fairgrounds, and some of them are wicked expensive. Like there's weekend long ones here that are Friday afternoon through like Sunday evening, and they're like $1,200. And you get a big space at the expo hall or at the fairgrounds, but that is a lot of money, you guys. You got to book a lot of parties or sell a lot of bags to make up for spending $1,200 in a booth. And you're there for practically 3 days straight. Mm-hmm. So it is a really, really big time commitment. It's not, I don't recommend it. Personally, I just don't recommend it. I think they can be really good for companies or individuals who craft and carry a large inventory. But unless you are willing to have 100 large utility totes and 100 zip top utilities and all these thermals, it's just probably not worth it because people are there to purchase. They're there to shop. They are generally not there to take orders. They're generally not there to book parties. So I would really, really strongly suggest you not do that. Stick to mainly bullet point 2 or sometimes bullet point 1. My personal opinion.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And I do a lot of the mid-size events. I do quite a few of the smaller ones, but I only do them if I know that they're very, very highly advertised, because the worst thing in the world is to take a Saturday away from my family and then go and sit and have 2 or 3 people show up. So,
yeah,
and not even make enough money to pay back the cost of the booth, right? So I do.
Yeah, that's very frustrating. Don't put yourself in that position.
Yeah, I do a lot of 2-day events at festivals. There are some that I've been doing for multiple years, and that's a lot of fun because you have different customers coming in on different days. And lots of times with those, I will talk to other consultants on my team, have them switch time with me. So we will set times that each one of us are going to be in the booth so that we don't have to both be there the entire time. And then we share all of the leads and sales and things that way. We write our names on the back of each customer lead as to who spoke to the customer. And when we leave, we divide them and take them that way. So it's another good way to be able to allow your team members as well to have the opportunity to learn about doing vendor events also. The really large ones, we've got one in this area, and I know that I have some consultants that have been doing it for a few years, but it is a 4-day event. It costs $2,000 to set up, and I said no thank you this year when they asked me if I wanted to do it, because that's a lot of time commitment for 8 hours each day for 4 days. So I'm not sure that I can make my money back on that and have the time to really talk to people in an atmosphere like that. So, all right, let's look at the next one. Finding vendor events. And you know what? I know that Beth is much more of an expert on this than I am, so I'll give it a little jab and then I'll let her go for it. So one thing that you really want to do when you're looking for these vendor events is you're going to want to utilize local websites. So go check out your local churches, daycares, gateway community, the newspapers that are online, and see what's going on, what events are coming up, and check them out that way. Talk to other direct sellers. Lots of times you will get really good leads just by messaging other direct sellers and saying, hey, do you know of any vendor events coming up in the area? Look on websites by zip codes. Beth knows more about that. And Facebook has got some outstanding vendor communities that if you are on the ball and they're pretty quick, you can book some really good events that way. Most of my vendor events come from word of mouth, from either customers asking me to participate or from people contacting me directly and asking me to be a vendor. I actually got a home office lead earlier this month that was for a fall festival here in the area. I'm really excited. It's an Oktoberfest. So I get to go and sample some of the different things that they have there and be part of the Oktoberfest. So you just never know how those leads are going to come about. Now, Beth, in your area, you have a lot of really cool ways that you go about getting vendor events, and you have a couple of unique things to share, especially like the searching by zip codes and the different communities that you can search through. Did you share that?
Yeah, absolutely. Down here we have one resource called Nextdoor, which I don't know if that's up near y'all or not, Regan, but it's basically different communities within your zip code, and it's completely free. And so people will often post event listings in there. Vendorfinder.com, eventlister.com. Those are both good resources where you can put in your zip code and it'll give it your radius. Are you willing to go 30 miles, 60 miles, whatever? And they will return results on that. As Marican said, the Facebook communities are huge for that. Or just go to Google and type in craft fair and put in your city or the neighboring city. Or even do that to find some local websites that have listings. Like here we have New Tampa Neighborhood News, I think is the website, and that's my little specific area. And all of these sort of small resources are completely free to advertise on. So just about every event goes ahead and throws their stuff out there because why not? It's free. Same thing with like Lutz Laker is a free online publication where we can see things. And the other thing that I find a lot of events is think about where your passions are. So I'm passionate about animals and animal rescue. And so I specifically go look to see what animal related organizations are doing what kind of events. A lot of them will do fundraising type of events, and your booth fee goes towards the organization. Like Florida Boxer Rescue does a big event every year with all the booth fees going towards the boxers. And so that's actually a really good event for me. I do really well there. because yes, these people are dog fanatics, and you get to watch all of them with their little tiny pocket pups dressed in homemade dresses and being pushed in their strollers, and it's wicked entertaining for me. But they also love their large utility totes for their dog stuff. They love their thermal totes for their dog stuff. These people will buy anything that you can convince them will work for their dogs. So think about what your passions are. If your passion is adoption, I've been invited to so many different adoption type or fostering type events that are community fundraising awareness kind of events. 5Ks will often have opportunities as well with some of the casual fun 5Ks. They'll often have vendoring opportunities there as well. And those can be really good for thermals, for cinch sacks, those sort of things. So just kind of think outside the box a little bit. Think about who uses our products and think about where those people would be congregating and see if you can find an event tied to that.
Awesome. The other one down here at the bottom we didn't talk about is creating your own event. So it is quite a bit of work, I will tell you that, but creating your own event and pulling it together with other direct sellers in the area, if you can't find one, is an outstanding way to meet new people and to bring in new customers. You just have to be willing to put it together, find the vendors, and do the advertising. And so that can be another good opportunity to consider.
And if you are doing that, is it like instead of just doing it at somebody's house, like I said in that first example on the last slide, find an organization that is interested in partnering up with you on that. Like a lot of church missions groups are looking to raise funds often. So you might get them to let you use their space at the church, and then it's a public place. You're able to direct people there rather than saying, hey, go to this neighborhood, to this chick's house, and all that kind of thing. So you tend to get better traffic if you have a more public locale than just, you know, my LuLaRoe chick's back room kind of thing.
And fire and rescue squads. They are always looking to raise money, and they have got lots of great space. So some good options for that. All right, so that's a little unstable. I hope I'm not breaking up too bad on y'all. Things to know about an event. You want to know how many visitors you're expecting, how many people were there last year. So these are good questions that you can ask. You need to know the event times and the setup. Some vendor events can require that you set up extremely early. I did one this summer. It was a week-long event for teachers at a hotel, and I had to be there at 7 o'clock every morning. That was rough. However, it was for teachers, and it was 7 days long, and I sold over $2,000 worth of product. Will I do it again? Darn right. It was one of the best events I've ever done, just because of the people that we were looking for. But it was brutal having to drive an hour at 7 o'clock in the morning every day.
I got to sleep under the table.
And I take this one with me. You'll want to get a list of attendees.
I was the smart one.
And their contact info. And who you're actually targeting your marketing at. So that particular event that I was working on, I was targeting teachers. So you could guarantee that my setup really displayed product that was going to be aimed towards those teachers. And I gave a discount on certain products for teachers specifically. So who's your market and what the cost of the event's going to be. Do you need to bring chairs, tables, and a tent? If you do, you're going to want to make sure that you have those things with you, because let me tell you, one of the most miserable things that can possibly happen is you get to a vendor event and realize you do not have a table, or get to a vendor event and realize it's outside and you didn't know it and you have no tent on a 90-degree day. So these are very important questions. Who is marketing the event and where at? So you want to know what kind of advertising is going to be happening and where they're advertising, so that you are sure that the event is going to be well advertised and well attended, because you don't want to go waste your time. Got anything to add to that one, Beth?
No, I had a thought, but then it left my head. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of it.
It's late. So what to bring to your event? I'm going to take this one, Beth, and I'm going to let you do the next one, because I want to show you all. I'm going to walk over here. I have this box back here. We'll bring it down and a little closer. And I'm going to stop the screen share for just a sec, and we will pull it back up. So this box that I have right here is my vendor event box. And what I learned a long time ago was that I was often forgetting things that I needed for the vendor event. So I took, Grayson, you're going to have to leave. He's cutting up apples. I took everything that I needed for my vendor event and put it in one box, and it stays in my closet. So this is my vendor event box, and I actually use it for display on the table as well because, of course, it's a pink box for our kit. So it's good talking points. I have Velcroed the top of it so that it stays closed for me when I need it to be closed. And inside of it, I have all the things that I need for vendor events. So I've got my sale sign for my sale product. These right here are copies of old catalogs so that I can look up pricings on things if I need to. This is my bag for putting the orders in. I have tape and hanging things, string, whatever I have needed in the past in there just in case. My tablecloths, my signage, display stands, my basket for putting their door prize slips in, my bin, a bag of ink pens because you're going to need ink pens because they're going to disappear, and my acrylic display stands. So all of these things, I actually have multiple tablecloths. I have about 4 or 5 tablecloths in there, but all of these things stay in here so that when I need to go to a vendor event, I know that I'm going to have all of those things that I'm going to need and don't have to worry about searching all over the world for them. So whenever I do a vendor event, all I have to do is grab this box and I know I'm going to have everything I need to get the setup and display going. So that's my box. And I will go back to the screen share and talk a little bit more about the rest of it. Sorry, cutting board collapsed. Okay, so things to bring to the vendor event. You're going to need your display, your cash and carry if you're going to be selling some, and the product that you're going to display. You're going to need a tablecloth or a table skirting, comfortable shoes, and professional dress. Don't overdress for the occasion. Make sure you're dressing for the event that you're attending. If it's an outdoor event and everybody else is going to be wearing t-shirts, wear a 31 t-shirt. If it is a business event, then dress in business attire that's appropriate to what other people will be wearing. One of our small crossbody bags is perfect for you to wear during the event to show off, but also so that you can have your cash, your phone, and anything else you need right there at hand, and you're not walking away and leaving your money sitting. Door prize. You're going to want to have a door prize slips, a prize to give away to people who enter it, catalogs, mini catalogs, business cards, specials flyers, and recruiting information. You're going to want to take all of those things with you because you're probably going to need it. You're going to want hostess packet and recruiting packets to be able to give out to people that are interested. And you want to get their info as well. So I have everyone fill out my door prize slips so that I can get their info as well. And then I take their door prize slip when they walk away, and I make a note on the back of it about who they were and what I discussed with them. And then you're going to also want to have your calendar with the open dates that you have available. So that's what I have. What did I leave out, Beth?
The only other things I would add is, I mean, like I said, I do a lot of outdoor events. You want to make your display attractive and have some height to it. And if you don't have an easy way to do that and you've got a tent, those little silver jump ring things that like our fabric swatches come on are great to hang bags from the tent poles inside your tent so people can see it from far away. So I'll often hang some of the bigger things up there, like you can hang a Cindy tote, hang some Retro Metros, some of the big things, because they grab people's attention. Because if all of your stuff is just at table level, waist level, they aren't going to see it until they're kind of on top of it. So I do some of those sort of things. I actually have a coat rack. I think it's actually a clothes drying rack, but it's like it looks like a coat rack. It's got these little spokes coming off of it, and I ordered it on Amazon, super cheap. It's maybe like 6 feet tall, but it collapses down when you're not using it to just be like the stick thing. And I like that for my vendor events as well because I can hang several bags. And again, it's higher than just waist level, table level. So people can see it from farther away. And the added benefit of that is if you're at an indoor event with limited space where they're like, okay, you have 1 6-foot table, you can usually kind of sneak that a little off to the side and to the front of one edge of your table and really give yourself a ton more room than just that 6-foot table that you've been allotted. So it was maybe $35, $40 on Amazon, and it's like more than paid for itself in all the times I've used it at my events.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So making your events attractive making your display attractive is very important. And that's one of the things that Beth was just now sharing. You want the height, you want the display to look nice. You want to be able to see it from a distance. You also want to make sure that on your table that you have many catalogs and business cards that are available for people to be able to reach out and grab. I do not keep my full-size catalogs on the table. I keep them under the table, and I only give those out to people that are very interested, because you can really lose a lot of catalogs very quickly if you just leave them laying on the table for anyone to grab. So use your mini catalogs for that and your business cards for a grab and go. And you can also make an awesome flyer to hand out at vendor events. I know Beth can tell you more about that here in just a second. But have good signage and branding so that people know who you're representing. You definitely want something that says big and screams 31 so that they know who you are. Our 31 tablecloths are perfect for that. The black tablecloth with the 31 logo across the front does a very good job of showing exactly who you are. But you also want to have something with your name on it to identify that you are Beth Reed, 31 Independent Executive Director. You want it out there so people know exactly who you are, as well as Jess 31. For events geared towards moms and kids, consider having an activity like a coloring sheet or something that you can have there for the kids to do while you're talking to the mom and for them to take away with them. The parents really appreciate that you are recognizing that they have children and offering something for them to do as well. Now, Beth, you do a fantastic flyer when you go to vendor events, and you always offer a discount for ordering. Would you like to share about that?
Well, I mix it up a lot, actually. It depends on the events. A lot of the events around here, and maybe you guys will find this as well, is for one thing, they will have goodie bags to the first X number of people through the door, 50 people, 75 people, whatever it is. Always, always, always take advantage of that if it's an option. And with those, I usually will create a mini version of whatever the customer special is this month. So I didn't have, when did we have cinch sacks? When was the Halloween cinch? Was that last month? Halloween cinch sacks? Was that August? I don't remember anymore.
They were on sale. Yeah, they were on sale in August.
On sale. Okay. So I created a mini version of that. We had a bunch of stuff on sale, but I was just highlighting the cinch sacks because I just thought the Halloween ones were so flippin' cute, and I felt like everyone was going to jump all over them. So I created a mini version of that with my info and, limited time only, get a cinch sack for $10 or whatever it was. And I put that in with a mini and a little flyer. It's my about me. Who am I? It's my little about me flyer that I had put on a mini size, so that when they're walking around, if they've seen this, because I put them in a 6x9 poly bag, which again, Amazon, 100 of them for like $4 or something stupid. If they've seen that, they've seen my face, and they're going to know who I am when they're walking through this event. So I want them to recognize me. So that's why they get something with my picture on it in their little takeaway. For the events, it depends on what I'm targeting. Sometimes I'm really targeting recruiting. If that's the case, I have I'll do a picture frame, an 8x10 picture frame, and I'll put something about the opportunity in there. I like to say there's 3 ways to join our business. You can join as a part-time consultant, a casual consultant that you want to shop for yourself at a discount. You can join as a part-time consultant where you're looking to make your car payment or a little extra money, or you can join as a full-time consultant where you are looking to replace an income and make some serious cash. And if I have that laid out on a flyer, I get a ton of interest because there's a lot of people who would never think about starting a business. But when you say, oh, you want to make a car payment? Let's make that happen. They're like, oh, part-time, I could do that. So that's, if I'm targeting recruiting, that's what I do. That's my framed thing. If I'm not targeting recruiting, if I'm targeting bookings, I'll have a little cork board with booking dates on it, where if they pick a date, it's like a little envelope, and inside it'll say what prize they've won for booking on that date. Or I'll sometimes just do little dates, and it'll say pick a date, pick a prize, and they can pick something from my inventory to be their gift at their party, something on my table. And that tends to work really well as well. And I give them a hostess packet that day, set our date, and I say, okay, I'll bring this to your party. So that works really well. So it just depends on the kind of event that it is as to what my focus is going to be, and the kind of traffic that they're expecting. I do some events that are for some of the older, like red hat kind of society ladies. They're probably not joining my team. Odds are they're not joining my team. So I'm not going to focus on recruiting in an event like that. I'm going to focus more on gift giving and, you know, them shopping at the table that day, or potentially booking a party so they can shop for their grandkids and their kids. So, just about.
I love your flyers because you always do such a great job with them and are so smart about them. So thank you for sharing that. Displays. Here's some pictures of some displays for you all. You can kind of see what we were talking about, and the attractiveness. One of the things that you want to make sure that you do with displays is you don't overdo it. You don't want your table crowded with so much that everything falling over top of itself. So keep nice collections and matching products. As you can see in all of these displays, you have matching collections of products. So things that match together. Here's a teal, and then here's a display of the fun flops. Up here we have a display of the purple, and then of course here's all the fun flops in summer collection. But it all matches and is very attractive from a distance. Make sure your products are sitting up. You can put tissue paper and stuff either bags inside of them, or even use balloons to help make sure that your products are sitting up and not falling over on the table, because it truly doesn't make for a very pretty display when everything's flopped over and they really can't see it. Make sure you keep your table neat. As people come through and look and knock things over, go back and straighten it back up and keep it looking nice. Don't let there be things spread all over the table and trash sitting around. Just make sure that you look neat and professional at all times, and it will truly make a difference. I'm sure that some of you have been to vendor events and seen displays, and you're like, oh my goodness, what's going on there? People are attracted to attractive displays. So if you have an attractive display, they're going to come to you.
Mm-hmm. I was going to share my cubes that I do for my cash and carry events. I grabbed a couple of them out of the closet. So these are your way cubes, and I think that's probably backwards, but it's $10 deals, $15 steals, $20 squeals, and then I have a couple more. I've got a 30 and a 40 as well. But if I'm doing an event that I know is going to be heavy on cash and carry, these are my easiest way to set up, because I can stick, you know, all of my mini zipper pouches and all the little stuff in my $10 thing. And then I've just got them all lined up on my table, and they alternate black and pink, black and pink. And people can see from way far away what the pricing is on anything in that bin. And it does draw people in, because for one thing, they want to read what the heck I've got written on these bins. And they all do rhyme, every single one of them. And so people get a kick out of that. And it makes my vendor event life way, way easy. I will often still have the rack that I was talking about, the big drawing rack, that I will hang some of the larger things on, because you're not fitting a Cindy tote and a family fun thermal and all that into a bin. But for large utilities, zip tops, all that, they all will work in this. And then people can kind of flip through and see what patterns you have available. And I will always tell them that everything is, for the most part, retired products and or patterns, and it's all been discounted off of what it was in the book. So if you see something you love, you might want to grab it, because it could be the very last one on earth. And so people are like, ooh. And then they're like really wanting to dig through my $20 squeals and see what's going on in there. So it's worked really, really well for me. I implemented that, oh my God, I don't know how long ago, however long ago we had hot pink your way cubes. is when I started doing that, and it's worked really well for me.
Yes. And I relocated myself so that I could come and show you all the hanging rack that I use to display my product. So it is a $15 hanging rack that I got. Please ignore my garage. That I got at Walmart. And it pops apart very simply, and I throw it right back in the box that it came in. And then I hang my products up on baby coat hangers. And it is a great way. I actually have 2 of these racks. It is a great way to be able to quickly and easily display product and for people to be able to see it. And I actually bought a pricing machine. I don't know if y'all can see this, but let's see. There we go. And I actually put price tags on all of the products. For $10, I was able to buy a little pricer like you use at any clothing store to hang price tags off of things. And it's made it extremely easy for me to be able to share product prices without them constantly having to ask me. So this is just another way that I do it. All right, you want to do some of the do's and don'ts, and I'm going to go back to my seat.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so do's and don'ts when you're actually at your event. This is my biggest pet peeve when I see like a bajillion vendors doing this. They're sitting behind their table and they've got their phone like this and they're on Twitter or Facebook or Pinterest or whatever, and people are just walking by them because they're making no interaction. It's super annoying. Don't be that girl. Do not also be that girl that every single person that walks by, you said, have you heard of 31? Look at my cute bag. Do you want to come see my stuff? It's wicked obnoxious. Please don't do it. People are going to be like, oh, I'm good. No, never mind. But if you address them and say something, you know, oh my God, I love your earrings. Oh, cute shoes, whatever. If you genuinely mean it, then you are striking up conversation. That's the first step in relationship building. That's the first step in getting them to come interact with you and talk to you. If you are doing cash and carry, make sure that everybody is walking away from your booth, not just with your item, but also with your contact information. If you're not attaching it physically to the product, throw a mini in it. Throw a mini in the large utility tote when you hand it over to them. If they want something else from you, they need to know how to reach you. Definitely network with the other vendors while you're there. Especially with our product, they are often the best customers. You will see so many vendors coming in with their deluxe utility totes and their large utility totes in patterns from 5 or 6 years ago that they've clearly had forever and ever. And it's staggering to me. Almost no vendors haven't heard of 31 because we're so great for this kind of thing. All the Scentsy girls have all their boxes of their warmers, and girl, I'll tell you what, their setup takes 2 hours. I don't know how they do it, but they've got everything all organized in their little 31 totes. And so I will often give a discount specifically just to the vendors off the large utility tote, sometimes the zip top as well, because they are the best bags for hauling all their stuff in. So it's a great way to make that connection, exchange information with those other vendors, because they're going to be your best lead on what the next big upcoming show is, what great vendor events are out there, what vendor events to avoid because they're awful. The other vendors can definitely tell you that stuff. So you want to be really nice to them.
Absolutely. I sell a lot to other vendors and have honestly had some of them that weren't happy with the companies that they were with and ended up joining my team later.
Yeah.
Because we had so much fun.
Yeah. Isn't that great? I love when that happens.
Yes. So after your event, ladies, you're going to want to get in contact with all of those people that you collected door prize slips from. Only one person might be winning the item you plan to raffle, but everyone can win something, whether it's a bonus item for booking, extra credit on their party, a nail file, a discount on their next order. They can all win something. And so your purpose for contacting them is to thank them for meeting them, and telling them that you enjoyed meeting them, to let them know that they did not win the big prize. However, you would like to offer them whatever else. So it's a great way to be able to get back in contact with them and actually reach out to them. Sometimes people are so surprised that you contact them and reach out to them afterwards. They are just so excited about the customer service that you're giving them that they will book parties just from that, or place an order of something that they didn't order that night and decided that they wanted. So don't miss that step. This is a critical step in doing these vendor events. If you're going to get all of those contacts and then not ever contact them back in person, then you are missing out on the follow-up. As you know, you've probably heard it be said, fortune is in the follow-up, and it truly is. So make sure that you're contacting those people in the future.
Yeah.
If they're not interested in doing a party right now, ask them if there might be a time in the future that you can follow up with them, maybe 6 months later. Stay tuned for future trainings and follow-up that it will be more in-depth on follow-up in the future. I think we have a follow-up training coming up probably sometime soon.
Probably. Yeah, and like the door prize slips, I made my own because I felt like 31s were kind of lacking. And you can easily make your own and like literally create them 4 to a page in Word and then just cut them. If you don't want to order them, I ordered, I think off of Vista or something, maybe not Vista, but one of the sites, just because I wanted to get enough that I didn't have to do this whole thing again.
Yes.
But I asked them specifically, hey, if you're interested in hosting, what's a good month for you? So that if it's not, you know, right now we're about to be in October, if they're saying, oh yeah, I totally want to host, but not till January, then I know, okay, I'm going to follow up with them after the holidays, and, you know, get them on my calendar for then. And I personally like the scale of 1 to 10 thing, especially for booking and recruiting. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, if I promise not to stalk you, how interested are you in the opportunity? And they'll circle 1 through 10. And then I can gauge that. If they're like, nope, I'm not interested, then okay, I'm not going to probably be emailing them a recruiting flyer anytime soon if they circle 2, right? But people are generally pretty honest on those things, so because they have no reason not to be.
I love that. I use the exact same scale, 1 to 10. I do change mine up quite often. I probably need to order some from Vistaprint. I use the same one that I use at my party. It's a great way. So, ladies, I have unmuted you off. I wanted to give you the opportunity to ask us questions. If you do have some background noise, I hear a TV. If you wouldn't mind muting that TV, we would appreciate it so that we can hear each other. Okay. All right. So does anyone have any questions for us? Got any vendor events coming up in the future? We hope you learned something. You have a question, Mary?
No, she has a vendor event coming up in the future.
She does. She's got one on the 30th. I knew that she had one coming up very soon.
Awesome. I have one like every freaking weekend in October. I'm going to really want to kill myself by the end of the month because I only like them just so much. But I'm hoping it's going to be amazing, right?
It's amazing. Absolutely. I have one October 14th and November 4th, so 1 a month. So I've got those 2. I guess I'm looking to book one in December now. So I can't wait to hear about y'all's vendor events. Please post and share with us when you book one and what you plan to do. Okay? Thank you for joining us. Our next call is our Move, Motivate, and Happen. It will be on October 9th.
Yes.
And we look forward to hearing or to seeing you all then. And our Better Together events are coming up the first week of October. So we look forward to seeing you at them. If you can, the local one. And if you can't, please go to the one that's local to you. Have a blessed day, ladies.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.